think it's very serious, as you say, because they always seem to have been playing catch up with a lot of their rivals in the Chinese market. But even though sales in China are starting to decline now and not show the same growth it did when the others were entering the market, you can't leave it off the radar. You know, you're still talking huge volumes there. And I think if you're not one of the bigger players there is still room for opportunity. So I'm not surprised they're taking it very seriously.
Anna Marie, this also comes at a time where the China sales market for automobiles, though, has been slowing quite sharply by some measures. How much of a concern is this for the big three U.S. automakers? Because we know that is a key sector, a key segment of the constituency in which President Trump is trying to help with this trade fight.
Yeah, it's been a funny one because it has been intended to help them, but they also have a lot of business there. And it's not just them, you know, Daimler, BMW, they manufacture in the US and export to China as well. So tariffs are hurting them as well. So it's actually had a big impact on the business in the US in general. Also component trade between the two companies. So a slowdown in China is actually hurting a lot more companies than I think was first intended, including, GM, who has big business in China, and Ford and its attempts to grow there. So it's definitely having a big impact for the remainder of this year.
Yes, you mentioned Daimler. They were really among the first to flag just how worried they were about the situation in China, the situation around the trade fight as well. But it's not just Daimler, of course. BMW has its own concerns with its manufacturing presence in the U.S. And I wonder, too, about the bigger question around emerging markets, Anna Marie. I mean, that was something we saw in the Renault results yesterday. It's not just a China story. I mean, several pockets in emerging markets are starting to be a big concern for these automakers. Is that right?
It is. Renault has built a lot of its strategy in the last couple of years around these emerging markets, such as Turkey, where we've seen the currency crisis in the last couple of months really hurting sales. Also, it's got presence in China. It had to pull out of Iran, which has been a big part of its international business. So that focus on emerging markets, which by nature are more volatile, has really been hurting Renault in its turnaround.
And Anna Marie, just finally, are you turning more confident on Tesla? We just heard a bit of a change in opinion there from one voice, sounding quite confident on the prospects for the Model 3. What's your view?
I think it is positive in that they seem to have a better handle now on their deliveries. They're meeting targets. Obviously, the logistics of getting the cars to market has been more difficult, but I think the fact that they seem to be more comfortable with their production is a much more positive picture now.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.